When I say Nick Fury, who do you picture? I imagine most people think of Samuel L. Jackson, but maybe some of you think of the original Marvel comic book series. But I'll tell you who I definitely didn't think of, David Hasselhoff. Well, let me tell you that in the year of my birth, 1998, David Hasselhoff did in fact play Nick Fury in the 16% Rotten Tomatoes scoring film Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Apparently this movie had a $6 million production budget, so let's see if we can figure out what that spending went into. We open on a creepy looking cryogenics lab with a frozen Baron Wolfgang von Strucker in one of the units. Based on the writing in the 90s, do we think this is a good guy or a very heavily, overly stereotyped bad guy? And it looks like something's happening to the Iceman. Oh my god, what is that? No thank you, sleep paralysis demon.
Please don't.
Hell of a way to earn our keep, isn't it, Vaughn? Babysitting a corpse? Baron Wolfgang von Strucker. Last of the great global boogeymen.
Oh, I love it when they explain the context really, really blatantly for everyone.
Doing
This guy has the best death scene ever. I mean, look at that face. I'm so manly when I die.
Hydra Group, this is Vaughn at Trinity Base. Defense grid disengaged.
He's not dead. Keep going. I actually don't know who's the good guy or the bad guy at the moment, apart from Baron von Strucker, because he's obviously a bad guy, even though he's a frozen corpse.
Let us rock! And let us roll!
Ugh, I was rooting for you. You ruined it. You can die now.
Nick.
Isn't that sweet? His last words, Nick.
Okay, she's definitely a bad guy. Now we meet our title character, but not before it's made very clear to us that he is a loner badass guy who lives in an abandoned tunnel with loads of keep out signs. So I wonder what he's going to be like. Oh, and he's pickaxing a solid concrete wall for no reason. What a man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Man with an eye patch. And then without any information, he beats the absolute crap out of this guy. We find out that S.H.I.E.L.D., the organisation he used to work for, kicked him out for not following the rules because he's such a bad guy. But now they want him back. And this is Pierce, who was sent to collect him.
Sir.
Why is he making that face? Well, we can tell a lot of the budget went into special effects. Look at that helicopter go. And we also meet our leading lady love interest, whose name I cannot say.
Tessa Valentino de Allegra Fontaine. Quite a mouthful when you try and wrap your tongue around it.
Luckily, they only refer to her as Val for the rest of the film. And she's played by Lisa Rinna, who I only know as Mark's MILF mum from Community.
You have already embarrassed me by getting pwned.
So the opening scenes are explained to us that that's Hydra, an evil organisation who have gone to retrieve the corpse of their leader. And in the process, they killed Nick's friend, the guy who goes, ah. So now Nick is back on board for revenge.
I'm an accredited instructor of advanced rappelling and single-line physical ascent. I also have an Alpha Class rating in explosive use and disposal.
How's your needlepoint?
Get it? It's funny because needlepoint is for girls and he's calling Pierce a girl. Funny.
Welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D., the Supreme Headquarters International Espionage Law Enforcement Division.
It's so useful that their tannoid system reminds everyone every day of where they are and exactly what S.H.I.E.L.D. does. Just in case you forget on your job that you go to every day.
Colonel, there's no smoking on board the helicarrier. New World Health Regulations.
Speak up, Pierce. My ears just popped. Must be the altitude.
This guy's a bad boy. He smokes where he's told not to.
Do not use this elevator.
Pierce!
Do not, repeat, do not use this elevator.
And he shoots the lift when it doesn't work. How does that work?
Must have been stuck.
Oh, there's just so much testosterone. I feel like I'm getting pregnant just watching this film. We also meet another S.H.I.E.L.D. agent called Kate who's joining the team, and she has psychic powers.
What are you, a mind reader?
We prefer the term E.S. Pierce. I had my natural ability augmented with implants. Neural implants.
We also meet S.H.I.E.L.D.'s director, who is clearly not a fan of Nick.
No, I'm not surprised, Pincer. Guys like you tend to cling to the bold no matter how many times you flush.
So now Nick's on board, they start taking him through all the weapons and tech that they have at S.H.I.E.L.D.
The hand grip is keyed to your thermal signature alone, so anybody tries to fire it, boom, they'll get it in the neck.
Oh my god, what is that? That is terrifying.
That's our prototype LMD, Life Model Decoy. It not only talks like you, it moves like you.
The effects are pretty good for this part in comparison to the helicopter. We find out it's Von Strucker's kids who stole his body back and are now leading Hydra.
Revenge is mine.
You're telling me that monster had a daughter?
And a son.
They've taken up where their father left off.
They did this guy dirty. This image, they did him so dirty. So the evil league of stereotyped supervillains, led by the Von Strucker twins, are planning to extract a virus from their father's corpse and use it to cause chaos. Of the Von Strucker twins, the daughter, who's referred to as Viper, is really the one who's in charge.
Silence!
When one of the other villains questions Viper's authority, she shoots him, so now we know that she's the baddest guy.
You have no authority here, Jackie Weaver.
Why is she so into shooting this guy? Like, enjoying it way too much. They have to really clearly establish that this person is a bad guy and crazy because their actions don't make any sense. Whereas I feel like, realistically, a good villain is one where you could almost understand their motives. They're just going about it the wrong way.
We are the soldiers of anarchy. And it is time that the world feared us once again.
In summary, the soldiers of anarchy are gonna fuck shit up. Nick and Val go on a mission to intercept the doctor who's meant to be responsible for extracting the virus.
You two were impossible to work with. I felt like a complete outsider until...
Hears gunshots, covers mouth, but still puts cigar in his. When they get to the doctor, it turns out they've just led Hydra straight to him as well. And Viper is there, disguised as an Interpol agent.
You said the safe house is compromised. Who's the spy?
She then kisses Nick with poison lipstick, and the rest of the Hydra agents recover the doctor. Now poisoned, but back at base, Nick has a quick trip to the tanning salon.
I feel fine, Gabe. Feel like a damn bratwurst.
This is my favourite line so far. They analyse the poison and it turns out it's the deadliest toxin in all of nature. There's no serum, no cure. Well, sadly guys, there's no way he can survive this. They literally said it. This will be the end of the film, I guess.
There's one possibility, but it's such a long shot.
Okay, never mind. Viper must be immune to it, so they need to sample her blood to find an antidote.
I did not intend to spend the last few hours of my life on this planet in the helicarrier sickbay.
But a little bit of poison isn't going to keep Nick Fury down. He's too much of a man to be sick. So he just carries on like he hasn't got 24 hours left to live. Val and Nick go out for a heart-to-heart gossip sesh. I find it so funny to think that they're on like a massive airship right above the clouds, so high up in the sky, and they step out onto a balcony just for some fresh air and a chat, as if they wouldn't be getting blown around like crazy. It's such a weird dynamic here, and like the way it's written, where they're trying to make both of them seem like the cool guy and neither of them seem like the bad guy.
Whatever we have between us is ancient history. I put it behind me. You should too.
Why don't I believe you?
Because you know me.
Nick, what do you want me to say? That it happened too fast between us? I got scared, I walked.
Yeah, to someone else's bed.
Well, I learned that move from you.
It's just continuous line after line after line of like, no, you did it. No, you did it. Damn, there's so much sexual tension. Back in the airship, another LMD of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s director walks right into the action before Nick shoots the hell out of him. Cool guys shoot guns from the side. That's gonna help you aim so much. He's not even looking. He has an eye patch as well, but he's just not looking. He's just like, shoot, shoot, shoot. Not that you shoot a gun like this. He's not even aiming.
How'd you know which one of me to shoot?
I didn't.
Classic bad boy move. Anyway, the point of this decoy was to send a message from Hydra. They explain they're going to release the virus in Manhattan unless they get $1 billion. But S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't negotiate with terrorists. Instead, they split up into two teams. Val goes to locate the virus in Manhattan, and Nick, Pierce, and Kate go to find the bad guy base. They're serious, and they're walking. They're serious, and they're walking. There goes that special effects budget again. Director Bossman is mad because Nick shouldn't be in the field in his condition. He's a danger to his team, which, to be fair, is kind of true.
Damn it, Fury, what do you think you're doing? You're endangering the mission!
I don't know why this little clip made me laugh so much. It's the way they all turn their heads to camera at the same time, like they're in a music video or something. Obviously, Nick ignores the director and carries on, but he's not looking so good, so maybe the director was right. Good news, they've located the bad guys.
Bingo.
Bad news, the bad guys have located them. In Manhattan, Val's team are looking for a refrigerated truck because that's what they believe the virus is being stored in. Super subtle in her full leather catsuit. Surely that's not ideal for combat. There must be chafing.
What's happening?
It's a decoy. The real virus truck's still out there somewhere.
I think they're just in one truck, searching the entire city. This seems like a really poor use of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s resources. There's so many people back at HQ, and it's just Val and her one group looking for this virus in all of Manhattan. But from the list of trucks that got located, obviously it's going to be the last one that has the virus in it.
As soon as we are set up, have a call the island and let them know we are operational.
Yeah. And ask them if the money has been paid.
And then our escape helicopter will be here.
The dialogue here between the two bad guys is really useful, where they explain the exact plan and context of what they're doing, as if neither of them have had this conversation before now. Now, I know you're worried about Nick, Pierce, and Kate. They made it to shore, and now it's time to kick some Hydra butt. I love this bit when Nick comes flying through the air, and then when he lands, he's still got his cigar in his mouth. Again, the full black leather is a choice. At least they all look sexy. That's how you distract the bad guys. You gotta look sexy so they're like, hey, I don't want to kill this guy, he looks so sexy.
Lasers.
Please let this be the stereotypical trope where someone has to like somersault through all the lasers without touching a single one to get to the other side. No, they just sprayed it. I'm actually kind of disappointed. If there was ever a time for some kind of cheesy gimmick, it was then. I like when they go flip, 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 and they've just sped it up to make it look like they're going really fast. No way. The team is supposedly sneaking into this facility, but they keep the sound effects of them like walking on all the gravel so loud. Like surely the security guards could hear them. They're not being subtle at all. And he's just continuously talking with the cigar in his mouth. It must be chewed to pieces. It must be soggy, limp and lifeless in his mouth. He's had it in there for hours, maybe days at this point. I haven't seen him without it in so long.
If you weren't such an idiot, I would suspect you for treason.
Even Nick realizes this is all too easy when they then get captured by Hydra agents.
You liked my kissing so much that you're back for more?
Viper may be an evil psycho, but she's serving left, right, and center. She slays that fit so hard. She reveals the bomb will still go off even if the money gets paid, and has all Team S.H.I.E.L.D.'s weapons taken off them before locking them in a freezer.
Search them thoroughly.
You know what? Good for her. It's normally the downfall of the bad guys that they don't check for weapons, and then someone pulls a gun out of their arse crack or something.
But you're unarmed. You're naked. Where were you hiding that?
You really don't want to know.
You know how people say everyone looks either like a frog or a rat? I can't get over how much Pierce looks like a rat. Like so distinctly like a rat. He actually looks like Rodney from Flushed Away, the animated rat film. He does. He just looks like the human version of Rodney the rat. I can't unsee it. Nick reveals that his fake eye is in fact a bomb.
Relax. It's only plastic with a little Cracker Jack surprise inside.
No one could have seen that coming. I don't blame the bad guys. I think they did their due diligence with that weapons check. And it turns out it's a bomb with a big explosion. Think about how many times he must have been punched in the face and it's just there, in his head, ready to blow at any second. I just imagine a scenario where he gets hit and his whole head just explodes. But thanks to Nick's bombastic side eye, the team escaped. Bombastic side eye. Because there's a bomb in his eye. Meanwhile, Val's team are caught up with the bomb boys, and they sneak into their base before dropping down from the rafters on wires. This obviously looks really cool and slick, but I like to imagine the practicalities of it, where you're having to faff around unclipping yourself, like whilst you're hanging on, trying to unclip, or if the cable just stops slightly too short and you're just dangling there, dangling just above the ground, trying to undo it like a wedgie. That would be me as an agent, not coordinated enough at all to do any of these things. Viper's brother manages to activate the missile before he gets shot in the head, and he is so creepy here. This poor actor, he has been done so dirty in this entire film. They've made him look like such a creep. Even though Val's team are there with the virus, it turns out the missile can be activated remotely, so they can't do anything.
So what are the digits?
The digits are in code. The assumption is only Viper knows what the numbers are.
This girl has so many outfit changes, and I'm here for it. Having escaped from the freezer, Nick does the coolest forward roll I've ever seen. And then in the time it would have taken for Viper to grab her gun and aim, Nick manages to run across the room to her, slide over a table, and then she just lets herself be tackled down. Maybe she's not as good as I thought she was. I really like this fight sequence where Nick gets kicked straight in the chest, and the first one he just takes it like it's nothing, and the second one he goes flying. It's like a delay on a video game.
Who you think you fighting, fool?
The doctor then tries to shoot Nick with the gun that got taken off of him earlier, but oh, sweet, sweet irony. This is the gun that is keyed only to Nick, so when the doctor uses it, it actually electrocutes him. And his final words were, "How stupid do you think I am?" Well, asked and answered, I guess. He also goes flying. Kate finally gets to use her powers to figure out where the exit is.
Which way?
Let me concentrate a minute.
And then it doesn't even work.
Just something tells me it's this way.
Why is she here? Before Pierce and Kate can get to him, Nick takes 3 bullets to the chest and the bomb gets activated.
Revenge is mine.
But wait, it's not Nick, it's his LMD. Thank goodness. But wait, how did they get that out of a crashing plane? They didn't show any clips of them lugging a mannequin body across the island. How did it get there? Where was it hidden? I don't understand where this came from. It's just a full human man.
But I just killed you.
No, you just killed my life model decoy.
I also also realize Hydra obviously sent that LMG of the director to S.H.I.E.L.D. earlier in the film. Where did they get that from? That means that they obviously have their own LMDs, but then she doesn't understand how it's not Nick. I don't know who's real anymore. Does any of this matter if they could all just be duplicated by a robot? This is a plot hole. Nick once again just shoots the electronics when they don't work for him, and apparently that fixes things.
Never lost my touch.
Anyway, now they've got Viper.
You know he's even uglier than I remember. Your frozen popsicle. Get it, Andrea? Popsicle?
You know what? There are so many solid one-liners in this film.
You know, that's the problem with the Third Reich. No sense of humor.
Yes, that was the problem. While the Hydra agents are trying to break through the door, Nick gets back in contact with S.H.I.E.L.D. and finds out that the bomb needs a code to deactivate it. Finally, Kate gets to use her powers.
Kate, the numbers.
You're talking big, the numbers.
37906.
The situation's contained, Nick.
OMG, they did it with only a second to spare. And the special effects budget is here to save the day.
What the hell is that?
Oh, it's not over. There's another countdown. Wow, this film just keeps going. Is he gonna shoot it? That's how he fixed everything else. This time, the countdown's just a diversion so Viper can sneak away with her father's dead body. And now she's descending really slowly. What the fuck? They can literally get her. They can literally catch up with her. She's right there. She's one floor down.
She's halfway to China by now.
What, no? She's literally going to be the floor below. There were so many tunnels here. I'm sure you could get to her. After all that, he gives up so easily. Well, at least they got Viper's blood and Nick got his vaccine. The director comes along to tell Nick off for breaking the rules, but he just doesn't care because he's such a bad boy. In fact, he punches him straight in the face because that's what real men do. No talking. Just fists.
How was that? For diminished motor coordination.
But what about our lovers? Will they rekindle the relationship? Has this brought them closer together?
Maybe I lost more than my job when I parted ways with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh my gosh, he used his words. Anyway, no time for that. There's work to do.
Viper's still out there, and we haven't recovered Von Strucker's body.
This is a career-driven couple.
Yeah. Got you something. Call it a belated homecoming gift. Well, you're not gonna smoke it?
Yeah, I've been thinking about quitting lately.
He's literally been sucking on a cigar for 80% of this film. And back onto the light breezy balcony in the sky. Dun dun dun. Viper lives to slay another day. That outfit. If I take nothing else away from this film, Viper's outfits.
Our work has just begun.
Oh lord, they revived the popsicle. Wow, that was a whirlwind. I don't know about you, but I'm going to dig out my leather catsuit and save the world. So I found out that apparently this film was meant to be like a pilot for a new series, which is why it obviously was left so open-ended with like more to explore. So that makes sense. And David Hasselhoff was signed on for another 5 potential films that never happened. And I should explain, this is a TV film for the Fox network rather than like a box office release. And the overall reception was fairly negative. People enjoyed like some of Hasselhoff's one-liners, but the rest of the dialogue and context was a bit weak, which I think I would agree with. As a TV film, is quite hard to compare. I personally didn't recognize any of the other TV film releases from 1998. However, for reference, some of the big box office releases for 1998 included Armageddon, which had a budget of $140 million, A Bug's Life with a budget of $45 million, and a personal favorite of mine when it comes to films that are so bad they're good, The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, which had a budget of $18 million, which on the scale of things is a lot closer to the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. budget of $6 million. Sidetrack, but I could definitely do a video about all Adam Sandler's greatest movie flops. I love them. There's so many that I love and they have such a cult following, but fundamentally they are bad.
Today, Junior?
Anyway, back to this movie. Overall, I'd say it's very of the time with lots of like outdated messages and sense of humor. However, keeping in mind how old this film is now, it did still make me laugh at several points, whether it was meant to or not. And who knows, maybe this would have been better suited to a TV series format. Perhaps if it had done that from the beginning instead of trying to launch as a movie, it could have been more successful. You could even argue this movie was ahead of its time because the big comic book movie resurgence didn't happen until 10 years after this film came out. But again, those new movies took a very different sense of style and humor to this film. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Had anyone else seen this movie before now, or is this the first time you've heard of it? And are there any other TV movies you've seen that have been big flops? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll be back soon with another movie to talk about.
You're like a damn bratwurst.